just a few seconds old, and Liverpool leading by 1-0, which means Oxford have a problem, of course, because Liverpool not a side disposed to charity even on Boxing Day, and in fact are likely to be even meaner than usual today, simply because they're heading for a club record 20 league games without defeat. The goal scorer, John Aldridge. And in fact, Oxford looking to come back into it right at the start of the second half, because on the far side of the field, Peter Bryon gets in a fairly tiny little sender to the near post, and Bruce Grobbelaar, the Liverpool goalkeeper, flaps rather seasonably at the ball and concedes a corner. The first half ended with a rash of corners for Liverpool, but Oxford coming straight back at the league leaders at the start of the second half and forcing a corner. Rhodes Brown to take it, long one, far post. Up goes Nicol, turns it away near side. Dreyer, one of the two large centre-backs for Oxford, moving up just outside the edge of the Liverpool penalty area, manages to get a centre and the ball drifting wide. And in the end, it's Alan Hansen, the Liverpool captain, who whacks the ball up into the Oxford half. The goal scorer, John Aldridge, once of Oxford himself, one of the Manor Ground's authentic heroes, but now returning to steal a goal just a few minutes before half-time, his 16th goal of the season. But Oxford coming again, Oxford in yellow and black, playing from left to right, and it's Hill near side of the field, right edge of the Liverpool penalty area, trying to get his centre in, and in fact winning yet another corner. So, Oxford pressure, Manor Ground optimism, and it's a corner on the near side of the field, the Oxford right. It's going to be taken by Gary Shelton, who perhaps made the best of Oxford's attempts at a goal in the first half. Shelton then with the corner, right-footed, long, far post. Up goes Dreyer, doesn't make contact. Nicol gets it away with difficulty. Shot comes in there. Whitehurst rising high on his right foot, making contact with his left. But in the end, the ball just dribbling straight into the hands of Bruce Grobbelaar. And it's Grobbelaar, right-footed, who clears enormously. Liverpool pursuing from right to left, far side of the field. Beardsley's there, gets the right foot to it, hooks it inside, and then chases off after what really looks to be a vain course, and so it proves, because Oxford get that ball away from left to right, and again they begin to piece together a nice little movement. But it's Steve Nicol, the Liverpool left-back, just moving forward, swinging his left foot, and thumping it out of play on that far side of the field. Let's run through the two sides for you. Oxford, yellow shirts and dark shorts. Watched today, it might be said, by Robert Maxwell, their owner, with his son, the club's chairman, just alongside him, Kevin Maxwell, that is. Oxford in possession meantime. I'll give you the Oxford side in just a moment, but they're midway inside the Liverpool half, looking for a little 1-2. Phillips is there, lays it outside, far side of the field. Rhodes Brown, Oxford still pushing forward. Centre comes in, long one, far post, good header there. Good header coming in by Billy Whitehurst. Got up to the Rhodes Brown centre, rose high, made clean contact. Direction not perfect though, and the ball went straight into the hands of Bruce Grobbelaar. Oxford then, in goal, Peter Hucker. The back four, David Bardsley, Tommy Caton, John Dreyer, just in his second season with the club, at least in First Division football, and a young man of immense promise, John Dreyer, the younger and larger of the two Oxford centre-backs. And at left-back, that final utility player, Trevor Brooking. In midfield, Richard Hill, Gary Shelton and Les Phillips. And then up front, Dean Saunders, the leading scorer with 9 goals, alongside him Billy Whitehurst and Peter Rhodes Brown. And still Oxford now 15 yards inside the Liverpool half. They've got a free kick. It's going to be Caton who takes it with his left foot. Now a long ball that holds up a little bit into the wind, and Whitehurst is there, turns it away. Chance now for Rhodes Brown, comes back, shot comes in from, I think it was Peter Rhodes Brown there. Phillips was there as well. The ball spinning away, and it's going to be a corner to Oxford. Far side of the field. Now it's Peter Rhodes Brown. He'll take it with his left foot. And Dreyer and Caton, the big men from central defence, move up inside the Liverpool penalty area. The corner comes across. Liverpool get it away with difficulty. But Dreyer's there, punts it up. The ball's still inside the Liverpool penalty area. And again, it drifts away, and this time it's going to be a goal kick to Liverpool. The Liverpool side, Liverpool all in red, of course, in goal, Bruce Grobbelaar. The back four, Barry Venison, Gary Gillespie, Alan Hansen, their captain, and Steve Nicol. In midfield, Ray Houghton. Again, once of Oxford himself, of course, Ronnie Whelan and Steve McMahon. John Aldridge, that other former Oxford old boy, and the scorer of the game's 1 goal to date. And alongside him, Peter Beardsley and John Barnes. The referee today, Graham Ashby from Worcester, who in fact is refereeing a Liverpool match for the very first time. I wonder if he's as impressed as the rest of the Manor Ground, and indeed, I suspect, a first comment from Trevor Brooking.
Well, naturally, Liverpool were very impressive, and the last 20 minutes just before half-time, Bryon, they were really putting them under siege, and the goal was inevitable. But Oxford, to be fair, come out first 5-6 minutes of the second half, put them under a bit of pressure, which you expect, I suppose, just after half-time. And Bruce Grobbelaar probably had more touches in those first 6 or 7 minutes than he did the whole of that previous first half. One little bit of uncertain handling from the Rose Brown cross, which bounced off the pitch, didn't it, 5 yards in front of him. I think if it had been Abdul Kadir, he'd have probably said it was his googly, but it bounced over, in fact, Bruce's shoulder, and I think he was very grateful that Gary Gillespie was there to head it away for a corner.
As Houghton, one of the two Oxford old boys in the Liverpool side, turns on the heat, drifts towards the near side of the field, sends the ball after John Barnes, scuttling up this near touchline, the Liverpool left. Even Barnes, with his turn of pace, can't make contact. The ball runs out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick to Oxford, away to our left. Our commentary position just inside the half being defended by Liverpool. Bruce Grobbelaar's away to our right. It's a glum, unfriendly old day here at the Manor. Grey clouds above. There's been light rain in the air for most of the day. The Manor Ground, of course, as always, quaint and old-fashioned, with three stands, I should say, of different heights and lengths on the far side of the field, but all filled today, over 10,000, their biggest crowd of the season, urging Oxford now, far side of the field. They've got the ball, they trail by a goal to nil, but this looks promising. Hebbert, the right back, swings the ball towards the near touchline. Oxford rolling forward from left to right. The right back now, David Bardsley, turns it inside. Picked up now by Trevor Hebbert, the right back. In fact, who's moved inside now, playing almost in a midfield position. The ball swung in, and a little opportunity there. The contact being made by Dean Saunders, the leading scorer. But the headed attempt, in the end, proving no great problems for Bruce Grobbelaar. And Liverpool get it away up towards the halfway line. Liverpool in possession. Little Les Phillips nips across there, finds Saunders. Saunders inside the Whitehurst, edge of the area. Looks for the little 1-2 there. Saunders had made the forward run, got himself inside the Liverpool penalty area. But really, the Liverpool defence, a long, strong defensive wall, all in red, of course. The door shut tightly. And as it's Liverpool clearing from left to right and now picking up the ball, Whelan near side. Oh, fine little ball through now to Beardsley. Midway inside the Oxford half. He's got Barnes outside him. Gives it to Barnes. Barnes shoots, and Barnes tucks it away. Oh, the simplicity of it all. 3 men, 3 passes, and finally the shot from John Barnes. We're now 10 minutes into the second half, and Liverpool and John Barnes have now surely sealed up this game between them. It's Oxford 0, it's Liverpool 2. Trevor.
As you say, great simplicity, wasn't it? Just as Oxford were enjoying their best spell of the match, Liverpool for the first time broke away in the second period. Peter Beardsley held the ball up. They had the extra man. It was 3 against 2. Often happens when the home side just put in those extra men forward. Really held it up. John Barnes overlapped and really just going into the 18-yard box. A perfect finish. A lot of players would have just tried to blast it, hit it as hard as they could, but not John Barnes. On his left foot, placed it in the far corner. Almost a side foot, wasn't it? Just picked his spot. Great goal.
And as the goal was signified and confirmed by the referee, Graham Ashby, Robert Maxwell, the former chairman of Oxford, and his son, well, I think his son is still sitting down there, but certainly Robert Maxwell solemnly left his seat and leaves the ground. And now, with Oxford trailing by 2-2, it would need mighty deeds indeed to turn this game upside down. And of course, if Liverpool win this game, which must be some sort of possibility, they're leading by 2-0, they'll be 10 points clear at the top this evening. 10 points clear of both Nottingham Forest and Arsenal, who played, of course, at Highbury this morning. Forest winning by 2-0. Cue for Peter Jones with some more scores.
Yes, we've got one from the first division, one from the second. We'll take them in that order. First of all, an equaliser for Derby County at the baseball ground. Mark Wright, their central defender, the scorer. So it's Derby 1, Norwich 1. And the one in the second division, Ipswich 1, Crystal Palace 2. Now Ian Wright, their scorer.
The ball out of play, far side of the field, thrown to Oxford on the halfway line, taken by their left back, Trevor Hebbert. Oxford not really making anything of it, though, and as the rain thickens and begins to drift from right to left under the Manor Ground floodlights, the ball jumps and hops out of play on this near side of the field, where it's going to be a throw into Oxford about 10 yards inside their own half. This is the Oxford right. Right down beneath us now, David Bardsley to take the throw-in, steals a yard, takes the throw-in almost on the halfway line itself. Forward to Saunders, chests it down, touches it on to Whitehurst, who lays it back now to Phillips. Phillips drills a long ball, 35 yards, far side of the field to his left wing. Peter Rhodes-Brown picks up pace. Can he get a centre in? No, he can't. Couldn't quite get around Barry Venison, the Liverpool right back. Couldn't quite get the angle, and that centre of his, taken with the left foot, goes just behind the Liverpool goal line.
Often happens, as we said, when you're one goal down, and obviously Maurice Evans has had a word with his players, and really one of the big problems for the two front lads, Billy Whitehurst, Dean Saunders, was they were getting very little support from midfield, Bryon, because the sort of midfield four are so busy having to help out the defence. Now they're trying to push up and give them more support. Naturally, they're not there to help cover the back four, and now they're going to get caught on the counter-attack, really.
Nice play by John Aldridge. One goal he's got. He's contributed one of Liverpool's two here this afternoon. Just touches the ball, drags it back with the base, the sole of his right foot, turns the ball away to the far side. A little too clever, in fact. No one's on the end of it, but in the end, it's going to be a free kick to Liverpool, taken quickly by Whelan, away to the far side of the field. Beardsley gets the ball onto his left foot, defended there for Oxford by Cakeman, doesn't really get it away, but it is Oxford on the break now, the little figure of Phillips. But it's Houghton who's come back, another former Oxford man, now to McMahon. White number 11 on the back of his red shirt, little ball forward, flicked on there by Beardsley, can't quite find Aldridge, and that's going to be a free kick for offside to Oxford. The free kick midway inside their own half. Liverpool have won, well, they've won more silverware than any other club in the history of the league, of course. For 20 years now, they've been the game's dominant force. The ball just outside the Oxford-Liverpool penalty area. Whitehurst is there, and he's kicked and turns and twists, and Hill is there too. But in the end, it's Oxford still pushing forward. Hebbard now to Phillips. Phillips turns and assesses and waits for things to develop in just front of him. He's got a man away in space on the right, but in fact turns inside, changes his mind, and now it's David Bardsley, the right back, who has got a chance to come into the action. To Phillips. Phillips to Whitehurst. A little touch on. Saunders, nice touch. That could have looked so good too. 6 or 7 passes being strung together there by Oxford. The final one, well, it was ambitious, and it so very nearly came off. The ball being turned inside by Saunders, didn't quite get the angle right. The opportunity lost, the ball swallowed there by Liverpool, and it's Grobbelaar, the goalkeeper, to clear right to left, which he does so. Peter Jones.
Yes, we've got another goal from the baseball ground. This time it's for the visitors, Norwich City. Dale Gordon, the scorer, so it's Derby 1, Norwich 2. Let me run down the other latest scores for you. Everton 1, Luton 0. Newcastle 1, Manchester United 0. Southampton 2, Spurs 0. Ipswich 1, Crystal Palace 2. Dundee United 0, Celtic 1. A reminder of this morning's results. Charlton 2, Portsmouth 1. These are the significant results, of course. Watford 1, very significant. Sheffield Wednesday 3. And Arsenal 0, Nottingham Forest 2, which means Forest have gone up a place. Chelsea 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. West Ham 1, Wimbledon 2. And Trevor Brooking winces again. Manchester City 1, Leeds United 2.
And Oxford rolling forward away on the far side of the field, though this time falling into Liverpool's little offside trap. The flag goes up, far side of the field. It's going to be a Liverpool free kick just towards the edge of their own penalty area. Liverpool, oddly enough, have already beaten Oxford once this season. That was by 2-0 at Anfield back in September. And would you believe the goals that day scored by John Aldridge and John Barnes. Aldridge and Barnes, of course, the scorers of the 2 goals here today. It's Oxford 0, it's Liverpool 2, and the referee, a little running repair going on, stopping play there for Billy Whitehurst. Perhaps, I don't know, he's just got something into his eye there, was it?
Well, I'm pretty sure, having seen him before the game, Bryon, it's something to do with his nose, because amazing sight, really. He got about 6 or 7, what you can only describe as staples in his nose. His nose had split open after a couple of injuries, and that was what the doctor decided was the best way to hold it together. And I said to him, well, yes, obviously you're going to have a rest today. Then, oh, no, I'm playing, he said. And I thought, goodness me, good luck. And he's obviously got a little bang there, but he's certainly not ducked out of any headers. And certainly with good support, you can imagine him being quite a handful. But I think he's just got a sponge he's carrying around now because he's probably weeping.
Brave man, Billy Whitehurst, the former Newcastle man, of course. And it's Oxford clearing the ball, the highest of the day, as they like to say, from left to right, eventually coming down somewhere inside the centre circle. But Liverpool are underneath it. McMahon is there, tries a shot. Oh, what a goal! I said tries a shot. What a beautiful one it was in the end. picked it up when that ball came down. It was a skyscraper of a clearance. Liverpool were underneath it. McMahon was there, took the ball on about 10 yards, hit it from all of 28, 29 yards with his right foot. It seemed as if it was going just wide and just a little high, but in the end it ducked and entered just inside the top right corner of the Oxford net. What a goal there by Steve McMahon, his 7th of the season, and I doubt, Trevor Brooking, whether we'll see many better than that. Oxford 0, Liverpool 3.
Great goal. I should think poor old Billy Whitehurst, his eyes are weeping now, apart from his nose after that goal, because it was a bit special. Again, they got caught. In fact, this time it was 4 against 3, but Liverpool had the extra man. I must say, Stevie Nicol made a great run into the sort of 18-yard backs on the left-hand side of Steve McMahon as he was shaping, 25, 30 yards out, and I thought, oh, he's just going to play it to the spare man, but there he was. He hit a screaming shot, which, as you say, just dipped in underneath the angle, and there we are, 3-0.
And Oxford, ever the optimists, they've won a corner immediately away to our right. The corner comes in, Hill gets ahead to it, funked away there by Alan Hansen, the Liverpool captain. The ball away on the far side of the field, that's the Oxford left, but they haven't got possession. The ball running out of play. Oxford, it must be said, have had a couple of pretty wretched months behind them. At the beginning of November, they were 9th in Division 1 with 20 points, and now they're 18th with 22 points, just 2 points more behind them. 6 league games without a win. It now looks very much as if this is going to be a 7th. But really, they haven't been done many favours by the fixture makers in the last week or so. They have had to face Nottingham Forest and Manchester United just before Christmas, and now it's Liverpool. They're 3 goals down, and so they've met really 3 of the First Division's top 4 in just a fortnight. As Trevor was saying, enough to bring tears to your eyes, and I think Peter Jones has got some news that might just bring tear to Luton's eyes as well.
Yes, indeed, Bryon. It's a second goal for Everton, and it's a second goal for Adrian Heath at Goodison against Luton. Everton, who were 5th in the table at start of play, so again they're one of the front runners. Everton 2, Luton 0, and a scoreline from Scotland. Dundee United 1, Celtic 1. Ian Ferguson scores for Dundee United. Dundee United 1, Celtic 1.
And it's going to be a goal kick away to our left to Oxford, to be taken by Peter Hucker, the man who joined Oxford from Queen's Park Rangers last February. A real Londoner is Mr. Hucker, and he'll take a goal kick with his right foot. Let it be said, though, that despite their modest record in the First Division this season, their story really is one of the most successful stories of the 80s. Back in 1982, they were very near to liquidation, but then they won the 3rd and 2nd Division championships in successive seasons. They reached the First Division for the first time. They won the Milk Cup as well, of course, in 1986, all under the chairmanship of the man who left after Liverpool had put away their second goal, Robert Maxwell. So Oxford, they've got some marvellous, marvellous years just behind them, and what they'll consider to be success this year, of course, is merely hanging on to their status in Division 1, because a lot of their key men have now moved on to bigger things, including John Aldridge and Ray Houghton to Liverpool, of course. The ball out of play, far side of the field. Liverpool leading by 3 goals to 0. Liverpool in possession. The throw-in to be taken by Barry Venison, the right back. Takes it short onto the head there of Ray Houghton, back to Venison. Can't wriggle the ball, though, past the figure there of Tommy Caton. And again, it's going to be a Liverpool throw-in, 10 yards, 15 yards now, inside the Oxford half, far side of the field, the Liverpool right, long one forward. Aldridge is there, hooks it back in. Gary Shelton comes back, can't really control it. But in the end, it's John Dreher who's there, and he'll just ease that ball back into the hands of Peter Hucker. Trevor, 10 points, Liverpool this evening, no doubt about it now. That's a lot of leeway to catch up, isn't it?
Well, there's been all this speculation, hasn't there, been about what odds it is it's coming down all the time if they're going to go through a season unbeaten. I mean, I can't honestly see them going through the whole season without being beaten, and would probably be some unexpected source. But we thought it might even be an unexpected source today, but I mean, really, they are so commanding at the moment, and you just wonder who is that's going to stop them, in fact, because today it's 3-0, but it could have been half a dozen, couldn't it, Bryon, really?
Oh yes, and only one league side has ever gone through a season in the First Division, of course, without losing a game. That was Preston back in the very first year of the league, 1888-89. But remember, there were only 12 league clubs in that First Division at the time. But it must be said, Preston did it, won the championship without losing a game. And I break off there, talking about history, because things were happening very much at the moment there. Billy Whitehurst getting on the end of a ball, really not being given any chance at all, though, by the Liverpool defence, who flattened and moved upwards. He was way offside, so it's a free kick to Oxford, to Liverpool. Liverpool, long ball forward, edge of the Oxford penalty area, turned away, played up to Dean Saunders, right on the halfway line, little ball back to Phillips. He'll try an angled ball away to the far side of the field, but again, Liverpool impose themselves on the game. Down they come, clamp hard, and it's Liverpool in possession. Aldridge coming back towards the halfway line to Whelan. Whelan easing the ball out to the far side of the field. There's the figure there of Ray Houghton scurrying across, turns it inside. Now to Barry Venison, the right back, up in the action, enjoying himself deep inside the Oxford half, but the ball spinning off him, and it's going to be a free kick, says the referee Graham Ashby of Worcester. A free kick to Oxford. Right, the midway point to the second half here at the Manor Ground. Oxford with a fair little bit of work to do. It's Oxford 0, Liverpool 3, and here to pick up commentary, Peter Jones.
Well, at least they have a throw in to Oxford United. Far side from us, down the Oxford left, and it's deep inside the Liverpool half. And again, regrouping by Liverpool immediately. They move up and down as a team in a red tide, and they're all there now defending their own penalty area away to the right. And a challenge will come in from Richard Hill, and he'll play the ball wide again to Rhodes Brown, the old Chelsea player. Pushes the ball too far forward. Again, a lack of confidence, because Rhodes Brown over the years, Trevor, has been a tidy little winger, hasn't he?
Well, I can, of course, go back to his Chelsea days when he used to be there, and then couldn't get a regular place and came across here. But, of course, then when Ray Houghton himself was galloping down most of the time the left flank of Oxford, he couldn't get in the Oxford lineup. When, I mean, looking at the Liverpool side, John Aldridge and Ray Houghton, you know, a small club like Oxford can't survive on the gates alone, and they have to sell their better players. And you look then to see what they replaced those two key players with. Richard Hill and David Bardsley came from Watford. David Bardsley is a good signing. Richard Hill never quite at the moment been able to recapture that Northampton form of last season, really.
As John Dreher takes a free kick for Oxford, drops it too far forward. It bounces and goes well wide of Bruce Grobbelaar. Had almost nothing to do in the first half here at the Manor. Indeed, had no shot to save. There was one shot I remember from Gary Shelton, which went wide, but even that really didn't test Grobbelaar. And in the first 10 minutes of the second half, when Oxford came out firing on all cylinders, trying to get back into the game, Grobbelaar looked less than uncertain. But there you are. His forwards have helped him out, and one spectacular goal from John Barnes, and then an equally spectacular one in a different sort of vein from Steve McMahon makes it Oxford United 0, Liverpool 3. Liverpool top, 47 points at start of play, edging now towards a 10-point lead, as we were saying, with Nottingham Forest moving into second place this morning after that excellent win from their point of view at Highbury, beating Arsenal 2-0. So they are now in second place, or were at start of play. Arsenal in third place, Manchester United and Everton, so it gets more and more interesting. But who would now back against Liverpool for yet another championship? They lead here by 3-0. Oxford, though, have the free kick. They drop it high into the lights in a dark sky, edge of the area. Phillips tries to get through, still bouncing around. An overhead kick in the end from that scudding little man, Dean Saunders. But there was no real problem or threat to Bruce Grobbelaar defending the goal to our right. A packed enclosure behind him. It's a neat little ground here at Oxford. I'm sure it'll be the best gate of the season. As Grobbelaar backs away 5 strides, comes up, green jersey, red shorts, and again drops the ball deep inside the Oxford half to our left. Good challenge, though, coming in from Dreher, one of the tall central defenders. He and Tommy Caton have been under the whip a little bit, but they've done some good stuff in the air, particularly Tommy Caton, the old Manchester City and Arsenal player, who's done well against John Aldridge. And yet it was Aldridge who sneaked the goal 4 minutes from half-time, which really set the ball rolling for Liverpool. There's the man who scored the second goal, Barnes, in possession. Starts to drift infield deceptively. Little jink coming in from Peter Beardsley back to Barnes. The two England men together. Scurrying, Beardsley, ex-Newcastle, still there. Beats one man, beats two. The cross will come in and is cleared in the end off the line. Lovely work by Beardsley. Aldridge was looking for the second goal. Good clearance, though, by 3 Oxford defenders all together. It'll be a throw-in to Liverpool, almost on the Oxford corner flag. Near side to us, the Liverpool left. Still 3-0, but Barnes looking threatening again. Plays the ball back. McMahon tries another of those specials. This time it deflects off one of the Oxford defenders. Spins out to the far side. Still in possession, though, with Whelan. Cross comes in high from him inside the area. Aldridge with the header. Hucker's there. Collects it high above his head, almost on his own goal line. And Aldridge certainly looking for another one here. It was nice because they are a nice club here at Oxford. But both Houghton and Aldridge were applauded just before the kick-off here. That's the sort of club they are, but they're in a little trouble here, putting it mildly. They're 3-0 down, and at the start of play, remember, they were only 4 off the bottom because of that Sheffield Wednesday win at Watford this morning. They've got problems as Liverpool take possession once more. Nicol. Beardsley, not even Nicol, who's scampering after that one to get hold of it. So it'll be a goal kick to Oxford United. And Peter Hucker had 2 or 3 very good saves in the first half, and I shouldn't think he even saw the McMahon third goal. And the one from Barnes, as Trevor Brooking was describing, was perfectly placed. We were right behind Barnes where we sit here, and it just went drifting away on the floor, touched the inside of the far post, and it was in. Clinical stuff. Liverpool 3-0. Oxford again try. They will all the afternoon. I'm sure Maurice Evans will demand that from them, their manager. But they're 3-0 down. They're tussling for it. Can they get anything out of it? And then there's a little, for the first time this afternoon, just a little scuffle among the players, and the referee, Graham Ashby, is there immediately just to sort it out, which is by far the best thing to do. Is there, sorted out between the 2 players concerned, and it was the first little bit of friction all afternoon, Trevor.
Yes, I think a bit of frustration. I think Richard Hill, in fact, just lost his temper. He got tangled up in a couple of tackles, lost possession, and just as Steve McMahon was going away with the ball, Richard Hill reacted, in his fact been booked, and it looks as if Steve McMahon is going into the book as well. Possibly a little bit unlucky, because I think he was probably retaliating after the initial outburst from Richard Hill.
So the 2 names go in. It's, as I say, the first incident of the afternoon, but at least the referee sorted it out immediately. 2 players concerned. And I must say, as Trevor was describing, the staples of what they looked like, I'm sure there's a medical term for them, on the Whitehurst bridge of his nose looked horrific before the game. And we were both amazed when, I say, Trevor said, "You're not playing then this afternoon." He said, "Of course I am." And I wouldn't have thought he wants to get tangled up too physically in a situation like that. Oxford are 3-0 down. They have the possession, and it's handball in any case, so they get the free kick. And cheers from the people all around us, because we're sitting with the crowd, and we're going to get the first substitution of the afternoon. We'll see what Maurice Evans is going to do. And the number 14, Robbie Mustoe, comes on. And we'll see what Trevor Brooking will make of that in just a moment, ask him what he thinks about the substitution. Let's wait to see what Oxford can do with the free kick. They're 3-0 down here, and we are in the 30th minute almost of the second half. Barnsley with the free kick, headed away fairly easily, though, by Houghton, who's gone back as an extra defender. Peter Beardsley running onto that one. And there was his co-partner in crime, John Aldridge, but it was well covered by Oxford. And they play it back to Hucker, bounces the ball a couple of times. The opening closure away to the left, behind Peter Hucker, where nearly all the Liverpool supporters are. And I would suspect we'll go home to Merseyside tonight, having enjoyed their Boxing Day. Their side lead by 3-0. If it stays this way, they'll be 10 points clear of the nearest challengers, Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. As Nicol plays the ball down the near touchline down the left, looking for Beardsley and Houghton together. Can't find either. And there's Dreyer. He's been nice and tidy as Dreyer. And Caton will let it run on. And finally cleared by Hebbard. Chested sideways by Billy Whitehurst, the man we mentioned a moment ago. And Oxford have the possession 20 yards or so inside the Liverpool half. And it must seem as if that Liverpool goal is 25 miles away as the ball is laid down that left touchline, but comes to no avail. Although they have won the corner, I think. And the referee agrees. 1 or 2 of the Liverpool players looking a little surprised. So it is a corner to Oxford United. And exactly 30 minutes have gone on the watch in the second half, and Liverpool lead by 3-0, but Oxford have the corner. Left-footed from Rhodes-Brown, high, drops inside that Liverpool penalty area, and the referee has seen an infringement. It'll be a free kick to Liverpool inside their own penalty area. Let's have a rundown on the latest scores for you.
Yes, the latest scores in the matches we're featuring on this Boxing Day afternoon. Derby 1, Norwich 2, Everton 2, Luton 0, Newcastle 1, Manchester United 0, Southampton 2, Spurs 0. And in the second division, Ipswich 1, Crystal Palace 2, and north of the border, the big one there, Dundee United 1, Celtic 1.
As a long ball is played deep inside that Oxford half away to our left, comes nowhere, although Beardsley, as always, is prepared to run after it and scuttle and cause problems to defenders. He can't there, except that his presence is always a bit of a danger, and the ball is finally played into touch. It'll be an Oxford throw. So what about that substitution by Maurice Evans, Trevor?
Well, I don't think he was too impressed with Richard Hill, little outburst, in fact, which caused the booking, and so 1 minute later he pulled him off, and he brought the young lad Robbie Mustoe, who's lined up wide of midfield on the right. Perhaps he looks just a young lad. Give him a bit of experience, and you never know. I mean, 3-0 down, nothing to lose, and it's his first blood in, and let's see what he can do. But I mean, with Stevie Nicol on left back and John Barnes over that side, I wish him luck.
I'm going to say some blooding that's going to be. So it's Oxford United 0, Liverpool 3, but Oxford still battle, and the ball is played wide, and that man, Robbie Mustoe, gets his first touch of the ball. And he'll play it back, a couple of yards in from the near touchline. Bardsley lays it down, and again, little scudding and hurrying by Saunders, gets the cross in, ball is cleared, thumped away. Lovely little scuttling run again by the little figure of Dean Saunders, 10 goals behind him this season. Did well there, took the defender by surprise by sheer pace in that 5 yards. Oxford take the throw, gets the fullback Bardsley, cross the area, still inside the area, and in the end Venison gets a little touch of sanity to the occasion by turning it back to Bruce Goblar, who bowls it out far side to the Republic of Ireland international Ronnie Whelan. The Liverpool side sprinkled with internationals, it goes without saying. As the ball again is laid deep inside the half, it's played square on the edge of the Oxford penalty area. Aldridge, little back heel from him, plays the ball to the far post. I'm not quite sure, Trevor, there what he was trying to curl it into the corner or trying to play it into the path of Houghton. He'll say both.
Yeah, one of those, I think, where you get caught in two minds. In fact, Ray Houghton's pass to him pushed him a little bit wide towards the corner of the 18-yard box, so it was a bit of a sort of tight angle, really, to try a chip. So he's turned inside and then half clipped it towards the far post, and as you say, to Ray Houghton. I think it was more a pass, but it didn't end up going to either.
As Hucker, with a little spurt of sand, I'm told they put a heavy coating of sand on this pitch a couple of weeks ago, and then as luck would have it, it's typical sort of as far as groundsmen are concerned, didn't have enough rain, and that's caused a few extra problems. A little bit bumpy here and there, and spurts of sand come up occasionally. As the ball is laid forward, and Oxford United perhaps would need a couple of sandbags to keep out Liverpool, I would have thought. As the ball will run into touch, one or two of the supporters in front of us think they've had enough of this. Oxford supporters, I would suggest, and are prepared to drift away to an Oxford tee, but not Dave Sexton, who's sitting just in front of us, and as typical of Dave, is always, I think, finding things out. He always says he learns a lesson every match he goes to. Little jots things down here and there. Great football mind, Dave Sexton. As Liverpool take the throw, but they're deep inside their own half. They're laid forward. There's the dark head figure of John Aldridge. A couple of yards in from the near touchline, the Liverpool left. Feints to play a back heel to Beardsley. Doesn't, then plays it through the gap. Houghton goes scuttling after it, but that'll run surely over the line. And Houghton prepared to go all the way down there, but it'll go across the line, and it'll be a goal kick to Oxford United. And again, these odd little shaped stands and enclosures we have at the Manor Ground. And behind we actually have trees and suburban houses. That's how Oxford has stayed from their early days, and the crowd just been given to me 13,680. It's the biggest of the season by 4,000. That's what Liverpool and Boxing Day will mean. I'm sure they would have hoped for a little more reward than this at the moment, because now with some 11 minutes and 10 seconds to go, Oxford are 3-0 down to Liverpool. No disgrace by any means, but they would have hoped perhaps for something a little better with their biggest crowd of the season here. Liverpool have a free kick. They take it too quickly, though, quite rightly. Referee brings it all the way back, and McMahon, scorer of the third goal. And now Gary Shelton, I think, is having a few words with the referee, and so is Gillespie. And now the ball will come all the way back to where the referee says it should be taken for the free kick to Liverpool. 5 yards inside their own half, in no particular hurry to take it. Alan Hansen, hands on hips, looks down, sees where his troops are organised down there to the left. Tall figure of Gillespie will take the free kick, and then plays it wide and square. Nicol, little chip ball from Nicol down the line. He was falling really as he played that one and didn't really go what he wanted to into Barnes, but Barnes has battled for it and won it. Square, Beardsley, inside the Oxford penalty area. Beardsley still there, the shot comes in, hits a post. Still bouncing away, and finally it's cleared. And that really was a bit sloppy by Oxford, because the ball was never on really for Barnes, and he was allowed to break through, go down the line, cut it into Peter Beardsley. The shot came in, hit a bar, and that could have been 4, Trevor.
Well, I mean, Peter Hucker didn't even see it, and it came off the post like a rocket. I must say, Peter Beardsley, a lot of people have commented, you know, that he's made, shall we say, a quieter entrance into the Liverpool setup. I mean, John Parnes taken all the headlines. Probably this is the best game I've seen him play, actually, for them. He hasn't got on the score sheet, really did deserve on that occasion, but he's done a lot of work, a lot of creating, and a lot of the old swivel hips taking people on, and I've been delighted with his performance today.
But it's Oxford United who have a free kick. They play it to the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Nichols there to clear. Underneath it is Bardsley, the Oxford fullback. He's lost it, though. Barnes will pick it up 10 yards inside his own half, lays it out square. McMahon couldn't quite get hold of that one, and it goes into touch. Peter Beardsley, and Trevor was mentioning, of course, once the idol of Tyneside, now very much a Liverpool player. And Kenny Dalglish says, well, if you can do it, I can do it. And he's going to bring on both his substitutes. Steve McMahon will go off, John Barnes will go off, Craig Johnson will come on, and Keith Spackman of Chelsea will come on. What about that, Trevor?
Probably looks as if they're having a little game, Kenny Dalglish. If you score a goal, then you can get off the pitch. But because, in fact, the two goal scorers this half, Steve McMahon and John Barnes, have gone off for a well-earned rest. And Nigel Speckman and Craig Johnson come on just to warm up, probably having sat around for, what, an hour and a quarter.
So there you are, chance for Nigel Speckman, chance for Craig Johnson. Not a bad situation to come into with your side 3-0 up. And Liverpool have the possession. Oh, Peter Beardsley, almost an air shot from him. Goes spinning away, and Mustoe, the Oxford substitute, picks the ball up, gets a second chance, plays it square again. And it's halfway inside the Liverpool half, high ball, not a very good ball for the front runners there. They're prepared to go for it eagerly, as they've done all the afternoon, to be fair to them, but that really wasn't a very good ball. And it's now back on the halfway line once more, and Oxford have that long way to get towards the Liverpool goal line. Phillips will try to sort things out, and then Hebbard, a long clearance from him with the left foot, edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Did look like a bit of a push there, I thought, on Saunders, but the referee has not accepted that. It did look like a slightly illegal challenge, and let's have later scores for you.
And there could be just a chink of light for Spurs down at the Dell, where the score is now Southampton 2, Spurs 1, and Chris Fairclough, the man putting Spurs back perhaps into that game. In Division 2, Ipswich 1, Crystal Palace 3, a second there for Ian Wright. Ipswich 1, Crystal Palace 3, and still in Division 2, West Bromwich Albion 1, Millwall 4, and the flavour of the day there, Teddy Sheringham, who's contributed a hat-trick.
Here at the Manor Ground, we've got a little more than 7 minutes to go, and it's still Oxford United 0, Liverpool 3, and there goes Houghton. Now Liverpool, once Oxford, plays it through the gap, and Beardsley again scuttling for it, and Aldridge is there too. Good clearance though by Oxford, who stuck to their guns, and at times really have been mesmerised by some of the front running from Liverpool. Lovely one-touch stuff, lovely running off the ball, but they've stuck to their guns manfully, although at times they've had holes torn in their defensive fabric, to put it mildly. But they've won the goal kick at least, and Hucker's prepared to take it. It looks as enthusiastic as ever, the goalkeeper. 2 or 3 good saves in the first half, and then that goal that opened things up by the old Oxford man, John Aldridge, 4 minutes before half-time. That opened up the situation, because then obviously Oxford had to come forward, and as Trevor was describing earlier this afternoon, because of that they began to leave bigger holes, and then they were punished first by John Barnes, a meticulously taken goal, and then that thunderous thing from Steve McMahon way up into the top corner, which I doubt that Hucker saw, even though it's a white ball against a black Oxford sky. He wouldn't have seen that one. It's 3-0 to Liverpool, but Oxford have a free kick. David Barnsley, the old Watford player, spots it up carefully, takes it with his right foot, drops it deep inside the Liverpool penalty area, headed away there once more by Gillespie. And perhaps Craig Johnson will tie one of those little runs he loves so much, from deep positions, running down the flank. He doesn't, but he's won the throw for Liverpool, 5 yards inside the Watford half, far side the Liverpool right, who lead here by 3-0 and are happy to play the ball back to ironic cheers from the home crowd, but it's a safe, sensible thing to do. We now have a little more than 5 minutes left of this Boxing Day game at Oxford. And Oxford in considerable trouble, as we were saying earlier, because of the Sheffield Wednesday win this morning. They've dropped down 1 place. They're just 4 off the bottom with 22 points. Liverpool in a quite different league, top, and it looks now as if they will be 10 points clear of the other runners. Unbeaten. Club record, 20 games without defeat. But let's see what Mustoe, the substitute, can do. And in the end, well, I think he would have meant something better than that, frankly, because it was not pulled back for the 3 runners who were going forward in the yellow Oxford shirts, but it almost caught Bruce Grobbelaar napping and bounced off the top of the crossbar and helped over by Grobbelaar's fingers. So they've won a corner from that. I'm sure it wasn't what he intended, but nevertheless it might even have crept in. That would have been heroic stuff by Mustoe. Takes the corner himself. Ball headed straight up in the air, though, by Gillespie. Ball on the edge of the area once more. Shelton. And that will go off Craig Johnston, the substitute, for a corner to Oxford United. So they're still firing, although they've now only got 4.5 minutes to do anything about the situation. And the cliche from the commentator, can Oxford come back now? One doubts, but they have a corner. Near side to us, down the right. Played high to the near post. Again, a mass of red Liverpool shirts. Craig Johnston is back as an extra defender. Typifies the Liverpool spirit. And they'll come on a break. Johnston and Beardsley together. Beardsley takes the ball. Johnston's gone outside him. Beardsley rides a tackle, finds Johnston. Good covering by Oxford United, though, and that will be a foul, I think, by Johnston. And the linesman's flag goes up to indicate that. Johnston turns, accepts it, so it'll be a free kick to Oxford United, just outside their own penalty area. And the referee just having a quiet word with Johnston. I'm sure it was enthusiasm more than anything else, but nevertheless, good to see the referee showing quiet authority like that, as Hucker bounces the ball once, and then will come out right to the edge of that wide line, kicks it fairly low, but deep nevertheless. Gillespie goes for the challenge and has lost it. Picked up again by Dean Saunders, who's worked so hard all afternoon, and he's very quick in those first 5 yards. Drops to Mustoe, fires a ball. The shot will come in the end from Billy Whitehurst, and it troubled the crowd about 20 yards to the right of Bruce Grobbelaar, but not the Liverpool goalkeeper himself.
No, I think Billy White has to say I was looking for the late dip there, Peter, but it came about sort of 40 yards too late. But, I mean, it was a speculative shot, just rebounded off of the defender. And looking at the Oxford side, you have to feel a certain sympathy. As we said, Nottingham Forest last week, Liverpool this week. Of course, they've got the Littlewoods Cup, haven't they? They're in the last 8 of that. And what's that, in sort of 2.5 weeks' time? I think they've got Manchester United coming here. And that probably is what they're looking forward to, because in the league situation you feel that they're just going to be battling it out to make sure they're not going to be involved in relegation or the playoffs.
Well, they tried to keep possession again. They've lost it, though. Houghton will pick it up. Used to wear the yellow shirt not so long ago. Now it's the red of Liverpool. As the ball is played down the right, Whelan with the cross. The header comes in from Aldridge, and this time was bouncing a good couple of yards wide, I would think, of Hucker's right-hand post, and he'll spot the ball up to take the goal kick. And on the far side now, one of the middle enclosures, we've got some of the dark blue seats showing up as spectators leave and go home. Oxford United 0, Liverpool 3, and we have 2.5 minutes of this game remaining. And looks like being another total success for Liverpool, and a little more headaches perhaps for Maurice Evans, who's the most philosophical of managers. Indeed said last week when Nottingham Forest were here, they murdered us. It's as simple as that. As Liverpool will try the cross, bounces off a defender, still on the edge of that Oxford penalty area. Referee seen an infringement. It's Oxford United's way, and they'll take the free kick. And let's see if we can get a startling run down the left. We can't, and it's cleared again easily by Venison, now filling in for Mark Lawrence. We saw his injury at Southampton not so long ago as the whistle goes for offside. And we always suspected, didn't we, Trevor, that Mark Lawrence wasn't really fully fit, and within 10 minutes of the start he was limping off the pitch.
It was significant that day, wasn't it? Gary Ablett was in fact on the bench as a fullback, and as soon as he was struggling, on he came. But of course Barry Venison has made a timely recovery from injury himself, having sort of got injured and then finally couldn't get back in the side, and so I should think he was relieved, if no one else was, that Mark Lawrence got a little bit of an injury to give him an opening back in this team, because it's certainly an 11 that you can't afford to be out of for very long.
Indeed, that's true, as the two substitutes, Nigel Spackman and Craig Johnston, will testify. Houghton back to one of those substitutes, Spackman to Venison, far side, down the Liverpool right, 10 yards in from the touchline, and in the end Venison, as he's challenged, has to play the ball back, but the referee's seen an infringement, and let's have another later score for you.
Yes, Peter, quickly news of one important goal north of the border. It's now Dundee United 1, Celtic 2, and it's Joe Miller who's given Celtic the lead. Dundee United 1, Celtic 2.
We're now in the last minutes of this first division game here at the Manor Ground, and Liverpool going home quietly and comfortably with more achievement and more success this afternoon. And they come forward almost relentlessly. Beardsley plays it to Johnston. Johnston going down to the byline. He cuts the ball back. Aldridge can't quite get the header there. It's skimmed over the top of his head and runs clear. And the ball is clear, but only into touch. And Nicol waits to take the throw, holds the ball above his head, deep inside the Oxford half to our left. Spackman back to Nicol, tries to play it through the legs there. Phillips couldn't do so. And the ball goes all the way back to Gillespie, who plays it all the way back to Hansen. And my betting is that Hansen will take it all the way back to Grobbelaar. It wasn't really a very wide bet, it's fairly obvious. Back to Grobbelaar. And Grobbelaar right to the edge of the area. A long, high clearance from Grobbelaar against the sky and the lights. Drops to Spackman. Spackman trying for a bit of glory. Well, if he'd aimed about 15 yards to the left, he might have got it, but that was that far wide. More and more spectators now will drift away and work out, I'm sure, the remaining fixtures for Oxford. Could we get a point here? Could we get a point there? Because that's the biggest headache, of course, when you look forward. You think, what would have been a comfortable game? Well, possibly if we lose that one, if this and if that. That's how you are when you're 4 points off the bottom of the first division. And that's exactly what they are, Oxford, because that's the whistle blown by the referee, Graham Ashby. Trevor Brooking.
Well, a great performance again by Liverpool. We say it every time we come and see them play, but the nice thing I always think this season is, as at Southampton, when in fact they came a bit unstuck and it ended up 2-2, when they do get ahead, particularly away from home, they're enjoying their football so much at the moment, Peter. They just go surging forward, and 2-3 goals, and even when they were 3-0 up, they were still hungry to put more away. And Peter Beardsley hitting the post, I thought he had a very impressive game, and it'll do him a lot of good today. And as I say, 10 points clear. When are they going to stumble? I wouldn't like to say.
I think in using the word you used there, Trevor, hungry for it, it's when you have a squad now of some 15 players. We've noticed when we've seen Liverpool this season that whenever one or two of the substitutes come on, they play as if their lives depended on it.
Well, Craig Johnson in particular, in fact, was scurrying around and in fact had a little argument with Peter Beardsley on one occasion when they had a 2-against-1 because he felt he should have had the ball earlier. And really there they are, 3-0 up, and it just shows the professionalism. But of course Craig Johnson, frustrated out of the team, knows that in most other First Division side he'd be a regular player, and when he does get on, he wants to try and prove the point.
All right, triumph for Liverpool. Now what about the headaches for Maurice Evans, the Oxford manager?
Well, I think plenty of aspirin tonight.